Welcome, my friends. Check it out. You are live with two of the vegan bodybuilders. On my left, I have
John Venus. What's going on, guys?
Venus from Norway. The most common question that I ever get being a vegan bodybuilder is, what do you eat to get your protein? How do you gain muscle? Is it even possible? It's like an unfathomable thing for a lot of people. And I remember when that was me too.
Yep, same here, man.
Right? Like before I transitioned about a year ago, you went like 13 months ago, 14?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Like both of us were like, there's no way. It doesn't make sense. So basically this video is just going to kind of like, cancel out that view, because we're going to give you 10 amazing foods that have plenty of protein, help you gain muscle, right? I think it's way easier than it might seem at first, especially after you hear some of these things. You're going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that was a lot of stuff that I could do. So the first thing, number one on the list, this one's a little bit weird, like something you might not have heard of before. The first thing is spirulina. So spirulina is actually like it's like a bacteria that's like cultured from algae, I believe, something like that. Mm-hmm. Not only is it extremely good for you in terms of antioxidants and vitamins, minerals, things like that, but for the weight,
yeah,
the protein is so high.
It's over 50%, guys. Yeah. So it's like, I think it's the most protein dense food on the planet. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. So that's insane.
I really only put that one because it is it's crazy how much protein comes from that for the weight. I don't personally use that. It's kind of gross.
Me neither.
Let's get on to the ones that actually taste good. Yeah, it's more relevant. Lentils and beans. You might have heard this before when you're like seeing about like what vegans eat and stuff, but actually they both have huge amounts of protein. Like I know you go hard.
Oh yeah. Beans and lentils is like the staple of my diet, and especially for me, because I don't have access to a lot of the meat replacements or a lot of tofu and seitan, depending on where I am at the time. Beans and lentils is something that you can get wherever you are in the world, pretty much, and the protein contents are amazing on it. It's like you can get all your protein requirements just from eating beans and lentils if you choose to.
Yeah, and it's mad cheap. That's another thing.
It is cheap.
A lot of people think that it's so expensive to be vegan. That's only if you decide to make it expensive. Beans and whatnot you can buy in huge containers.
Right.
I think it's relatively cheap.
You want me to tell you number 3?
I want you to tell me number 3. I want you to go.
Okay. No. We put down edamame. Is that how you say it? Edamame beans.
Yeah.
But we kind of talked about beans already, like just all beans in general, but edamame beans and edamame pasta, like pasta made from those beans, and in general just pasta made from beans. They're all like super high in protein, and I've never like really tried too many of them. I don't remember what I tried. I think I only tried quinoa pasta, which has a little bit higher protein than normal pasta. But I can see this being a really big, help in your diet if you're trying to boost up the protein level. Just to have the black bean pasta or whatever. It seems like it's a nice cheat.
It's phenomenal, bro. Yeah. Let me tell you, man. And I know you're saying like they're kind of the same thing, beans and then black bean pasta and stuff. They're two completely different things. Yeah, they're sourced from the same thing, but black bean pasta, it takes out pretty much all of the extra carbs and fat stuff. Number 4 on the list is Seitan. And it's not the devil. It's not Lucifer.
A lot of people say Satan.
It's Satan. Yeah. Team Satan. Sorry. No, but Seitan is it's wheat gluten protein, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. Yep.
And so it's kind of funky at first. If you've never seen it before, you'll look at it and you'll be like, what the hell is that? It just kind of looks like a big block of like texture or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of looks like a I don't know, like boiled meat or something. I'm not sure. It's like a
meatloaf.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit weird.
How do you make it?
Like I personally just you can either put it on an oven, you can fry it, whatever you want, or put it in the microwave. It's up to you. But what I prefer is like dicing it up into small pieces and like putting it in different dishes, like mixing it with rice or something, like tofu scramble. Even like I mix it in there. There's a lot of ways to eat it. Sometimes I even put it on a sandwich.
Yeah.
It has kind of like a. It depends, there's a lot of way to prepare this, but if you buy like just seitan without anything, just like 100% seitan, kind of tastes a little bit like smoky, like a bit like kind of like a meaty taste, and the texture is like very similar to meat. So, if you kind of like miss the texture and you want high amounts of protein, you know, that's a pretty good thing to go for.
Yeah, it's great for like marinating it for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like you're saying, cubing it up really small, and then fry panning it or whatever. You can throw it into like a burrito instead of like a meat. It acts very well as a meat replacement.
Yeah,
in
I love it with barbecue sauce.
Number 5 on the list is tempeh. This is relatively new to me. I knew about it, but I never like really went in and bought it and tried it and stuff because it kind of looks like brains. It's confusing. Right, yeah. It's weird, man. So what it is like tofu is like a block of like white texture, weird stuff, right? Tempeh is it's slightly higher in protein, lower in fat and stuff, and it's I suppose it's just like smashed together soybeans.
Yeah, it's a little less processed than tofu because tofu is like, it's almost like they process it, the beans extremely much.
Yeah.
And then they turn it into a block. While tempeh, you can actually see the pieces of the beans and stuff like that. So yeah, you can see it's a little less processed. So, you know, if you're worried about processed foods, this is a better choice than tofu in that point. I really enjoy the taste. It's a bit weird at first. Like, so you know, it's like your taste bud changes when you go vegan and stuff like that. So this ends up being really, really tasty. Plus, you can marinate it just like everything else and make it awesome.
The reason I think this is such a good food is because the texture isn't like tofu where it's all just kind of textureless. It has like this crunch, like because each one is kind of a bean shell. There's like crunch not only on the outside of the block but within the block too. There's like little pieces of some sort of texture. Now, the reason I point the texture out is the way that I prepare this is so good. You just slice it up into little pieces, put it into a frying pan, and you saute it with some sort of oil if you want to do that. And then what you do is you throw sauce on it. And it sounds like the simplest recipe or whatever, but if you put like orange sauce from Panda Express, it literally will taste pretty damn exact to how orange chicken tastes from Panda Express.
The sixth one we put down dense veggies like broccoli, you know, green beans, spinach, kale, like dark leafy greens, especially have a lot of protein. And I didn't realize that before. Like I thought, you know, I'll just have some broccoli, whatever, some spinach, but I wouldn't even count it as protein. I had no idea there was protein in there. Even though I watched Popeye when I was like, you know, a kid, I still didn't realize and make the connection. But there is a lot, you know, of protein. Yeah, the percentage-wise per calories is very, very high. The problem is it's very hard to consume enough of it because it's very, very filling. But the percentage of protein in these, you know, dark leafy greens and broccoli, that kind of stuff is super high. A lot of people don't expect it, but, you know, it's awesome. You can always get like an extra, you know, 20 to 30 grams of protein just by adding that stuff. It's crazy.
So dope. And you know that you should be eating more vegetables, whether or not you're vegan already.
It's a good excuse, right?
You know, like, you know you should. And when you add in those 4 servings of vegetables that you should, then you're getting that extra 20 to 30 grams of protein. Like, I didn't really notice that, like you're saying, until I actually turned around a broccoli bag and I was like, oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And then also, like, as you eat more vegetables, you get used to eating more vegetables. And now I'll just throw an extra broccoli on everything. And then that's getting me so much more protein.
Plus, it's really fucking healthy.
Exactly, man. Like, I feel 100 times better. Energy is 100 times better. Acne is 1,000,000,000 times better when I overdose on vegetables. So that's a powerful thing right there. 7 is tofu. Now, you were expecting this one. I put it down the list so you didn't be like, I knew what this video was going to be. But I always thought tofu was gross. I thought it was just looked stupid and textureless and just like, what the hell? Like, how do you eat that? And of course, the first time I tried tofu, I just took a bite of tofu after no preparation.
Raw tofu, right?
Yeah.
I tried that as well.
If you try like a plain piece of ground beef or something, like, you're gonna be like, this is disgusting.
Raw beef.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta season it and cook it, right? But the way that I'll set it up is like, I'll cut it down the middle and then I'll cut it into squares. You can saute those squares on both sides, so each side is golden brown. Then you throw some sort of sauce in it. Boom, and it's delicious. There's also a billion other ways to prepare it. Like, you can do scrambled tofu.
Oh, that's become the staple of my diet right now.
So good.
Scrambled tofu. Like, I personally choose like there is a lot of different tofus. You can buy tofu with some sort of spices inside. You know, curry tofu, mango tofu, whatever. You know, I prefer just having the plain one because it's easier when you're kind of macros and everything like that, and just like seasoning yourself. But guys, like the scrambled tofu is amazing. It's pretty much just tofu that you just like make a scramble out of it. You just put a fork, you just press down on the tofu, spread it out, and then you season it with, I prefer doing like with turmeric and salt and pepper, and that's pretty much it. And you know, it's awesome because it has like a similar texture to scrambled eggs. And it looks the same because it becomes yellow when you put the turmeric. So you can trick a lot of people to try it, and most of them will love it.
And if you're like me and you're on team ketchup, Tofu works so well with ketchup, especially that scrambled.
Yeah.
This one, probably a little harder for people who aren't living in America, specifically the more advanced places like California, New York, and stuff. Gardein, or just general meat replacement products. And I go hard. If you ever watch my videos, you ever see my full day eatings, you know that I like to eat Gardein. I probably have one of those every single day. But there are so many brands, especially here in California, because it's like we're always like kind of on the cutting edge of things. There's like Gardein, there's Sweet Earth, there's Boca, there's all these different products that either they make like their own thing that's like a completely different new product, or they just emulate something that you don't want to cut out of your diet because that's the reason you don't go vegan. You're like, I don't want to miss out on my orange chicken. And then bam, you got to try that orange chicken.
Oh my God, guys. I recommend every single person watching this to try this stuff out. It is phenomenal.
It's so good, man.
I couldn't believe it.
In my opinion, I've had people who are regular, like they're meat eaters. They haven't done anything with the vegan thing yet, but they try the product just because they're like, oh, I saw it in your vlog. And then they'll text me, snap me, and they'll be like, this is better than the stuff I usually eat every night. Like, it's good. It's good. Like,
and we're not just saying this because we're vegan or anything like that. Like, I would dig that stuff back when I was eating meat as well.
Yeah. Like, I'll give it to my sister. She's not a vegan, and she'll be like, "Wow, can we get more of this?"
Yeah.
So, like, if you are in a place where they do have some of those more advanced, like, replacement products and just like interesting pre-made and things like that, you should try them.
Yeah, it's very high in protein.
Yeah, especially in the beginning when you're transitioning over, before you start getting into like, oh, I'm going to make like a lot of my food myself, because a lot of people don't like to make their own food, don't even know how to cook. It's a great way to be like, okay, for dinner, instead of me like having to like chop up all these vegetables and make my own salsa and then make my own sauce and then you're like, I'm just going to throw all those frozen little pieces into a frying pan, add the sauce. I'm a chef. I just made sizzling Beijing beef, you know, and it's super good. So yeah, that one's very helpful.
It's a pretty obvious one, but protein powders. So basically, if you're into fitness and bodybuilding, you're consuming some sort of protein. Like most people, anyways. You don't need to. Yeah. You know, you really don't need to. But you know, it can be convenient and stuff like that. And if you're vegan, you know, that's obviously the highest concentration of protein comes from protein powders because it's protein. So obviously there are loads of different variations for vegan protein. There is hemp protein. There is brown rice protein, pea, soy. And different blends as well. Like everything blended together, and there's a lot to choose from. I gotta admit that a lot of companies are not doing as well as they should with taste, but there are some amazing tasting companies out there, protein powders, that you have to just you just have to experiment and find the one that works best for you. But it obviously, like, it has all the amino acid profiles, everything. There is no difference. Like, it's not superior. Like, whey protein is not better than this. Like, in terms of the reward you get from it, it's the same. I feel like a lot of people will not make the change to veganism simply because they won't have that cushion pad, that insurance pad of having a protein powder at the end of the day if they've effed up their macros. Because a lot of people will just be like, oops, I only got 78 grams of or whatever, and then they'll put 2 scoops of whey protein and shake it up and drink it, and they're like, now I'm all insured. I go to bed all feeling like gains are coming and stuff. But you can do the exact same thing. Literally, a scoop of brown rice protein is the exact same as whey. It has 24 grams of protein. The one that I personally use is brown rice protein by My Protein. I just say that simply because if you guys do want something that's super cheap and you want a discount on it, there is a link and a code and everything in the description below. But I've been using that forever, and I think it's really good, although it is like, it has a different texture. It's a little bit more gritty and stuff. So you kind of have to like play with it. So that brings us to our last listing item, which is hemp and other seeds like chia seeds and things like that. And you'll hear a lot about this, like if you ever start going vegan, people will be like, try this seed, try that seed. You don't eat the seeds straight in your face. Like, what you'll do is you like mix them into like a soup. You mix them into your shakes or something like that. And chia seeds and hemp seeds have so much protein, it's ridiculous. I think 6 tablespoons has something like 25 grams of protein. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy. Like if you really are, like, you're one of those guys that wants to go crazy on the protein, which you don't need to do, but say you still want to have the crazy amount of protein, you could make a smoothie or a shake in the morning and throw in 6 tablespoons of chia seeds and then throw in 1 scoop of brown rice protein, and you just put in 50 grams of protein before you even left the house.
Yeah, of course it comes along with fat because it's seeds. You know, nuts and seeds are awesome, have really, really big, like a lot of protein, but they come with a lot of fat as well. But it's really good, like if you're trying to taper down on carbs and having high fat, high protein, and lower carbs, nuts and seeds are awesome for that. So as you said, like there's a lot of ways to prepare this kind of stuff, put in smoothies and everything. I personally am not a person who consumes a lot of seeds and nuts. I really enjoy it. You know, I take more like almond butter and stuff like that. Yeah. And PB2, which is awesome. But apart from that, I don't really consume too much because I prefer keeping my fats low. But if you're a person who doesn't mind, if you're bulking, for example, go hard on those things, because that's, especially if you're a hard gainer, go hard on this because that is going to help you a lot.
If you're someone like me, I don't generally get a lot of fat in my other meals, so I usually have to add something. I have to add some oil to this saute or something just to make sure I do get my fats in. So if you're one of those people who's already pretty low in fat, this is a great way to be like, I'm going to add this fat, also get the benefits of all this extra protein. So that's the list of 10 things. But this is only 10 things that we just decided to throw out there. It's like there are so many sources, and this is not the best 10. This is just 10 that we sat going back
like random 10.
Yeah, put a list together. If you are ever worried about how you're going to get your protein in on a vegan diet, transitioning to a vegan diet, I hope that this video is something that you can go back to and reference. And then also you can kind of experiment and figure it out. Just because I want you guys to know that it's not a difficult thing. I've literally never had an issue. All of my journey this far, like 12 months into 11 months into it, never have I been at the end of the day like, oh no, man, I had a really tough time getting protein in. Like, this was impossible. It's easy, bro. It's just you got to trust yourself and like make that transitionary period and start like doing a little bit of studying and experimentation. And
it's everyone's worst worry, you know, not getting enough protein. But it's not going to happen. Seriously, guys, don't worry about it.
Yeah. And hopefully this video can like kind of dispel that myth and that kind of fear for you and kind of prove to you that there is some good protein eats out there, boys and girls. So that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I implore you, I really want you to go check out John Venus's channel, because you know I have all this food and stuff on my channel. It's a really great source. But if you go watch him too, he eats in a completely different style than me, so you get kind of like 2 whole sources of different types of foods that you can kind of like pull from, and also tons of great like workout videos, production videos, traveling vlogs, all sorts of good stuff. So check him out. His link's gonna be, I think it's gonna be like right there, right under the video, right there. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. If you do have other foods that you think are high in protein that you like to eat, that is a great place to put them. You will help so many people, so please take the time, the cuff pain, and write a little bit. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Give us your suggestions and ideas. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Team Beyond the Week.
Lift heavy or die, MIRIN, motherfucker.